Emphysema. Emphysema is also known as a chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. According to Google, it's a condition in which the air sacs of the lungs are damaged and enlarged, causing breathlessness. A L V E O L I. What does that spell? You betcha, it's alveoli. Alveoli are the tiny air sacs that are surrounded by capillaries at the end of bronchioles, and they're the primary site of gas exchange in the respiratory system. This is a diagram that showcases the process of gas exchange in the alveoli. The blue cells represent deoxygenated blood. However, as the cells pass through the alveolus, they start to release carbon dioxide so that it can leave the body during exhalation. Simultaneously, oxygen that is stored in your alveoli is now entering the cells, and they are now red, which represents oxygenated blood. As you can see, alveoli have huge functions as our ability to breathe freely is up to them. In particular, when you have emphysema, it means that your air sacs, also known as alveoli, are often inflated and are significantly damaged as shown in this image. As a result, the tiny air sacs lose their ability to stretch and eventually become very weak and break, like the one on the right. Plus, in addition to having damaged alveoli, your bronchioles may likely collapse. This is because alveoli can no longer hold your bronchioles open so that air can pass through. Thus, your body is not getting enough oxygen and it becomes harder for you to breathe. Since this disease is negatively interfering with a person's ability to breathe and the amount of airflow that they are receiving, emphysema directly affects the respiratory system. This disease results in significant lung damage and negatively affects a human's overall process of respiration. There are many causes for developing emphysema. These include tobacco smoke, marijuana smoke, air pollution, chemical fumes and dust, and your age, as people between the ages of 40 to 60 are more likely to develop emphysema. With regards to symptoms, in addition to shortness of breath, you may also experience wheezing, severe coughs, chest tightness or pain, fatigue, and/or weight loss. And one thing to remember is that emphysema cannot be reversed, but the damage can be prevented and can be slowed down. The main treatment method that we are going to be focusing on this video are bronchodilators. And bronchodilators are medications that open up the airways of the lungs by relaxing bronchial muscles and by allowing people who have difficulty breathing to breathe better. Here's a better explanation of this treatment method. If you were to cut a bronchiole in the middle, this is what it would look like. The central yellow opening is the bronchial lumen, which represents the airway in the respiratory system. The walls of these airways are full of smooth muscles, which are shown in pink. Now in this diagram, the bronchiole in the left is normal, whereas the bronchiole on the right is affected with emphysema. Thus, there are several distinct differences that we can point out. The infected airway is much smaller than the normal one because the smooth muscles in the right diagram are much more tight and are pushing inwards towards the lumen. As a result, the size of the lumen decreases and there is less space for air to pass through. Thus, the main purpose of bronchodilators is to open up that airway and to de-stress its surrounding muscles. Pros for bronchodilators is that it's a portable and efficient way of relieving the symptoms of emphysema, and it also allows breathing to be relatively easier. On the other hand, the cons for bronchodilators is that they are more of a short-term option to relieve symptoms, and short-term bronchodilators cannot necessarily slow down the progression of the disease. They can only alleviate temporary pain. And there's also many ways to prevent emphysema, including not to smoke, and if you're working in an environment with intoxicated gases, it's important to wear a mask. Also, to exercise regularly and to protect yourself from the cold weather. Thanks for watching!